welcome back to the Porsche 996 Hartech engine series. We're on episode 3 now. Now, I kept saying in the previous episodes that, you know, it's all happening around mid-August in terms of, you know, Hartech actually getting the car and things like that, so expect the next update around then. And obviously we're past that now. It's, you know, we're well into late August now, so I thought I'd give an update as to where we are, because there's a couple of things to cover off. So you might have noticed that we're not actually in a Porsche. We're in my only other car now. So, and that is because Hartech do in fact have the Porsche. So it's happening. They have the car, and because I wanted the full Hartech experience, I chose their preferred transport partner as well, Elite Logistics. Now, and I did that because Hartech are around 200 miles away from me, so in terms of like getting the car over to them, I just didn't really want the hassle of kind of having to get public transport back and things like that. So people that often have to transport cars know that it can be a bit like the Wild West out there, really, specifically with those sites where you sort of go on and you post details of the job, and then you get companies bidding on the job. You know, it's a bit of a, you know, and you kind of got to weigh it up. You've got to look at their previous feedback, you've got to look at costs and all that sort of stuff. But when it comes down to it, you know, you could end up with some guy just shows up with a hatchback with a trailer on the back, you know, wanting to transport your car somewhere, or even worse, companies that will ask you if the car runs, and if you say yes, they'll just drive it instead. You know, instead of actually transporting it, which is what you'd paid for, which has happened to me in the past. But anywho, so I decided to go with Elite. They come very highly recommended from Hartech, obviously, because that's the transport provider they use. And I have to say, if you're thinking about doing something similar with Hartech, you need your car transporting to and from there, I can absolutely recommend Elite Logistics. I'm so impressed with them. They were really friendly, very professional. They showed up. They've got all the right kit. Yeah, just I can't praise them enough, really. Very, very impressed. But you might notice that my car had to be winched onto their transporter. So, and there is a reason for that, unfortunately, and it's all to do with this little thing here. Now, this is a data logger, and it's actually used for, it can be used for lap times. It can record quarter mile times and things like that. But what I was going to use that for was, like I said in episode 2, just get some baseline performance data from the 3.4, and then we can do the same, you know, on the same car when it's a 3.7, and we can get a really good kind of accurate comparison between the two stats, and we can really see where the gains would be from the 20% more torque and the 10% more power. Unfortunately though, I kind of, so I got the data logger, and the final piece of calibration is you have to configure the x-axis, and to do that you have to accelerate as fast as you can from a standstill, or at least that's what the instructions told me to do for that last piece of calibration. And in doing that, I'm not quite sure what happened, but essentially it completely destroyed the clutch in the 911. So, you know, bit of a shame. I don't think I did a full bore standing start. It wasn't like, you know, giving it 100%, but it was enough to completely destroy the clutch. There was just no bite to it anymore. I barely made it home, to be honest. I was only about a mile away from my house, and I was lucky to not have to get the car transported back. It could basically do about 20 miles an hour. If I tried to go any faster than that, the clutch would just spin and you wouldn't go anywhere. So I initially thought, oh well, maybe I've just overheated the clutch or whatever. I actually tried to go out in the car about a week later, and it was exactly the same. So something's gone horribly wrong there. So basically, before the car was picked up on the 17th of August, I think. So we're about a week on from that now. But prior to that, the car had just been sat outside my house for a month because it was unable to move. I just kept the battery charged, and I just rolled the car backwards and forwards every week or so it wouldn't, tyres wouldn't get flat spotted or anything like that. So I looked after what I could. Give it a wash as well, you know, didn't let it sit there and get too dirty. So yeah, so the car was immobile. So it is a bit unfortunate that we won't get those performance stats out of the car before. I'll still do it after. So I mean, what I could do is I could sort of search around on the internet for you know, a standard car's in-gear acceleration stats, and I have found some, but they're all in kilometers, and I think that's, you know, I don't know where they're from actually, but that's obviously a different car in a different market. There's all kinds of variables in there that we didn't really want. So that car could have been on 17-inch wheels, for example. You know, I don't know if that's a different rolling radius. I don't know if that would affect acceleration times and things like that. So it is what it is. But anyway, this update, mainly those two things. So yes, the car's been picked up. It's about a week on from that now. I have spoke to Hartech a couple of days ago, and they've said basically yes, they've got the car, but no, they haven't even had a chance to look at it yet. I mean, it is all booked in. It's booked in way in advance, obviously. They're obviously still completing the previous job, whatever was in there. So I imagine they'd get to it soon, but they've got the car. But unfortunately, I was unable to get any performance stats. So those two things really are the sort of key things to give you in this update. But anywho, but we're not far from it. So I'm expecting, you know, next episode to be the findings of the post-mortem. So what they find, if anything, wrong with the engine, and where we go from there. But that's it really. So yeah, keep subscribing, keep the likes coming. Thank you very much. And yeah, I really appreciate the engagement from you guys. It's been really cool. So yeah, thanks so much for that. It means a lot. And yeah, we'll see what happens next. But for now, thank you very much for watching, and yeah, I'll see you next time.